To the deaf who gained the ability to hear, what sound surprised you the most? I waited way too long to get hearing aids. First time I flushed the toilet, it was so loud I panicked and ran out of the bathroom. A childhood friend got hearing aids at age 13 and was fascinated by all sorts of things that he found out made noise, but what totally cracked him up one day was the squeaky floorboards in his house. The idea that just walking around and having the floor squeak in random spots just had him rolling with laughter. I was so confused the first time I heard the rain pattering on the roof, or the sound of carpet when you move your foot. Oh, and loved hearing twee birds singing outside. The first time I heard crickets chirping, I was like, what? I have bilateral cochlear implants. The most surprising sound to me had to be the world's music, birds. Or maybe that's just the drones beeping. Oh, I have a great story. Friend's sister was very hard of hearing, nearly deaf. She got cochlear implants. At work I was asked to help her pair her implants with her new phone, because they are freaking Bluetooth. While I am doing this, she is happily telling me how sensitive they are. I can hear paper. She had no idea paper sliding on paper made a noise. She then told me she could hear her hand sliding on the wall, and how cats annoyed her because sometimes they made a sound, but sometimes they just made the action but no sound. But then out of the blue she says, what's weird is, boobs don't make noise. You really think they would? I lost it. I cracked up. Bilateral C's here. I initially grew up with hearing aids, but they only do so much. They just act as an amplifier really. When I got the implants, I heard crickets for the first time. It was totally strange, and I went inside to get my parents because there was a strange rattling/clicking sound near my dog's kennel. They thought it was a rattlesnake and were very cautious. My mom goes out and comes back smiling and tells me that I was just listening to crickets. Another bit. Post-implants, I was able to carry a conversation with someone without looking at them. It was so bizarre and lead to an almost vulnerable feeling. Closely related, but I work at a board game cafe and one of my regulars had a severely diminished sense of smell/taste. When he was about 20, the doctors found that it wasn't because that bit of his brain was underdeveloped, but because there was a tiny growth putting pressure on it. They easily removed it, and he went nuts trying every combination of coffee flavorings and tea for months afterwards. Weird stuff: maple and caramel, peppermint and coconut. My aunt didn't know that rain was so loud. A guy who went to my college talked about how when he got his hearing he was surprised that lamps don't make noise. You flip the switch, the light comes on, no noise. He said that he thought for a minute that he'd lost his hearing again. Interesting question. I had hearing aids since age 1 until I couldn't hear anymore by 28 after a head injury. I spent the next 5 years just resting my ears in silence and getting used to it. Then I got a cochlear implant at 33. The first thing I heard was my autistic nephew's voice. Realizing how kids actually sound and not just how I thought they sounded from a lip reading perspective. The sound that surprised me the most was laughter. You can see someone laughing and lip reading, but you cannot really begin to guess what their laugh sounds like. I forgot how unique people's laughs are and how laughter is also sort of a hearing culture aspect verbally. You aren't just seeing a smile, you are hearing a smile from across the room. All the times I couldn't hear and saw someone smiling, I realized they could have been laughing as well. I just couldn't hear it or recognize it as a communication tool of expression. Not me. This was asked before, and a guy posted that he thought it was weird sunshine made no noise at all. He thought it would have a hum or something. My son got his first C when he was 18 months. Pre-C, when he would get mad he would scream this high-pitched, brain-piercing scream that was beyond awful. About a week after activation, his brother took his favorite car and out came the demon scream. He scared himself so badly that he pulled his C off and started to cry. He never screamed like that again. Okay, so this is not at all the same as being deaf, but I had a load of ear problems with chronic infections for several years as a youngster, and one day I had my ears microsuctioned. Afterwards, I walked out of the room and I realized I could suddenly hear all this amazing background noise. People walking in the corridor, the fan turning on the ceiling, the receptionist shuffling paper. It was incredible. When I first got my hearing aids in high school, I didn't know the fire alarm in the girls' bathroom made these wee little betties just to let you know it still worked. I was also so quiet my first day, actually being able to hear all my friends cornered me after school ended to make sure I was okay. Needless to say, they were also excited that I could hear too. Not deaf myself, but I remember reading about some deaf guy who never knew farting made a sound. No one had told the poor fucker, and he'd made it to his 20s farting like a champ with zero shame. Probably made up, but still gave me a giggle. That boiling water makes noise. Seriously, I was shocked. Even to this day I pick up different sounds all the time. Sometimes I have to take off my hearing aids because all the noises give me headaches. Going to the movie theater is hard. I have to take off my hearing aids so I can enjoy the movie, but then I miss out on 80% of the dialogue unless the characters are facing the camera, then I can read their lips. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.